personally, my politics, I have very strong opinions about certain things going on. I don't really like what's going on in government from anybody, whether they have an R next to their name or a D next to their name. I just think that the government, we can't even have honest, legitimate conversations about policy and about ideology until we get money out of politics. None of the politicians work for us. They can't serve two masters. They've got so much money going on into their pockets and there's a few that are fighting it, but for the most part, they're all bought. The more that I've been in politics and talking about it and researching, the more my eyes have been open to this and the more appalling and shocking it has been to me and heartbreaking in a lot of ways. And so that is what I focus on my YouTube channel, and the stuff that's going to be coming out is really kind of just the inner workings of government and what's going on, leadership PACs, corporate PACs, dark money, and voting records. And I really believe that Congress has moved to the right. I mean, they're way right of the rest of America. And you got to wonder why. I mean, we're run by a bunch of rich people. There's a ton of rich people in there, and they're making decisions for the rest of us. So that is the kind of content that I put out on my YouTube channel, and that'll be coming out on this podcast stream. So I have to say that because I know not a lot of people are in agreement with me and what I think, and they think that I'm very anti-Democrat. I get asked all the time, people accuse me of splitting the party because I'm willing to talk about Democrats and the crap that goes on within the party. And I was even asked this yesterday, why am I so willing to rail against Democrats when Republicans are way worse? And my answer to that is because where were the Republicans when the Republican Party was going down the shitter? I mean, where were they? And we look at them and we say, hey, where were you? Where were you when ethically and morally your party just took a complete nosedive? Why didn't you stand up and say something? Why weren't you speaking out against this? The bigotry that obviously has infiltrated your party, and the Christian right wing who want to impose their morals on everybody. And where were you? Why didn't you stand up for this? And so that for me is the same thing. Here I am. When I see something wrong, which I see a lot wrong with the Republican, I mean, we already know that their party is just, until the other Republicans who do stand up and say, we need to take this party back. I mean, this is just not who we are and what we stand for. I feel like I'm doing the same thing when it comes to Democrats, where this is the party of the people. So we got to take this party back and make sure it's actually working for the people and not for special interests. And it's right now, the story is all about social justice and racism and bigotry, and that's what everybody wants us screaming about. And I'm not fully in agreement with that. I don't think that's really the case. As a minority female who comes from a refugee, asylum-seeking family, I could tell you that has just not been my experience. So I feel like it's all a distraction. And anyway, that's what my stuff is all about.